Hello, everyone, and welcome. And it's Friday again, and we are here again in the Coaches Next Door live, like almost ever or always. This is where conversations are real, the questions are deep, and the invitations always getting gentle, but very, very, bold. So we are not going to go a lot around. Um, Today, the episode that I want to, share with you is a soft one for many, for others maybe not. But I think we cannot sometimes get confused because sometimes we think that being soft is not powerful. And I think this one is soft but very powerful. And the subject of today is let it be easy. It's almost like this radical power of flow in our very daily life, right? And I want to really talk to you about something that I feel that we all secretly long, but often we get this guilt allowing ourselves, you know, the that let's make this easier. Let's make this, life feel easy. Easy means in flow, smooth, simple, and aligned. And I believe that um, some people get mistaken by, oh, if it's easy, it's not good enough. If is soft, oh, you are just want to be lazy, or you are privileged, or you don't have ambition. And I tend to see this in a very different way. My own experience shows me that, guess what? Going for and making your life easier takes a lot of work and takes a lot also of observation of ourselves, and the environment around us also requires strong skills like organization, like skills of communication, the skills of, you know, structure as well. So I believe that making things simple is really not, you know, out of work. It's not something that you just, let it go. No, much more the opposite. Yeah. And I believe that we need to sometimes um, get this idea that um, you know, we were in a long way of effort, right? We were in a long learning of effort. Um, I think I already told this story before, but I danced classic ballet for many years, right? And of course, I was not a professional, not even close to that. But I remember that I was like, okay, in the moment that this becomes more pain than pleasure, I'm not in. I'm not in anymore because I have this deep belief that life, just being life, is already so much is demanding, right? The changes that we go through, the things that life brings to us is already very demanding. So I will not increase that demanding, you know, for myself. That's not the way that I see things. And I think, culture glorifies effort. And I see that as well when people get, let's say, they admire, the overcoming, the the struggle. Oh, you were struggling and you overcame that. The warrior, huh? And this is, I hear this a lot by my the things that happened in my life and still happens. I hear this a lot, like, oh, you are so strong. I don't know if I want to be strong, and I was having this conversation yesterday with one of my team members, and I was saying, like, I think most part of the times people don't know, because she was saying, oh, you have so much energy, you are so quick doing your stuff, and you are so focused. And I said, yeah, but I think most part of the times people don't understand that that requires from a high level of discipline. As for instance, I tend to reply. So if people are asking me stuff or they ask even for my support or my help, I tend to reply to that. And I needed to learn that replying to everything and everyone is taking that easiest for me. Is taking this flow for me. Okay, because suddenly I find myself, replying to everyone and doing everything. Suddenly I go like, oh, okay, now I still need to do my own stuff. Okay, and I said to her, I think you don't imagine the discipline that this demands from myself, and also the realization that mm, mm, life is not to be, an effort, even if sometimes feels like, oh, but you, sometimes people say this to me, oh, but you do this so quickly. I say, yeah, but I still need to do it, right? Doesn't appear, I don't have a magic thing that makes things happening. I still need to do it. And I think sometimes people don't realize that. And suddenly um, people think, oh, but are you saying no to this, and or are you not wanting this? And I say, I want it, but I want it in a way that fulfills me. I want it in a way that really is good also for myself, right? And we believe that desiring something or wanting something um, that, like, make this easier is, that is like, you just want to make it easier, successful, not, impactful. And I go like, I believe that if my life is easier, I will have that success. If my life is easier, I will get that impact. If my life is easier, I will be able also to give the best for myself, right? When we are at ease, when we are not protecting ourselves, or we are not, in this tension that we need to perform, I believe that we give much more. I believe that we really reach points of high performance. Okay. So the question is, how can we make this happen? How can we really desire life to be easy and easier for our people, for our teams? And this is very interesting, because the only thing that is necessary is alignment. Yeah, it's almost like, is the body whispering, this feels right now, this feels great. The nervous system is saying, wow, I can breathe, I can even relax here. And sometimes we also need to say, hey, I just want this to be easy. I just want this to flow. I just want to, you know, um, make this the right for me, the right way for myself. Yeah. Just that you can ask anything, right? In our chat, you can go there, put your own questions. Sometimes, if you see, oh, but how do I do that? Or what is your experience about that? Or even sharing your own experience with this, that will be amazing. Please do so, okay? I'm reading the chat and I will reply almost immediately because, like I said, I like to reply. Um, so one of the things that um, I get this question a lot: how do you know that this is flow? How do you know that you are doing what matters? Yeah, and for me, this is so important. Doing what matters, because I also see a lot of people getting distracted, you know, by things that this really matters? Is this really what is going to change something or anything? But if you are putting yourself in a situation that you are just dealing with things that are just distractions, they don't bring any impact, any transformation, they don't support even, that life becomes easier. Um, what are you doing, basically? And it's that is the thing, is that um, the concept of flow is when actions feel supernatural and your focus is there. You don't need to force your focus. You don't need to even to do anything for that focus. And I think, for instance, if you I think where we can see this a lot. So they really, like, they are doing something, and sometimes even they lose the awareness that they are in this world, and they have people around them, and they lose the sense of this is something else. Like, this is what matters, and this is what I want to express, and this is the way that I want to do it, and that is flow. Because when we allow our mind to sometimes even only focus in one thing, you know, like, okay, if I'm doing this now, I'm doing this right now, and I'm with my head, with my body here. But what I see a lot is that people have a lot of agendas in their heads. Okay. They are, for instance, they are talking to me, and I feel, and I know that they are, for instance, oh, I have a meeting in 10 minutes, or oh, I have my kids to pick up, or oh, I don't know what I want to do for dinner. A lot of stuff going on at the same time. And when that happens, we will not do any of this. Uh, You will not be talking to me in the same way. I will not reply to you in the same way. And you also not solving anything by thinking about the meeting that you have in 10 minutes, right? You are not still doing the meeting. Or by thinking, when you are talking to me, by thinking about what you're going to make for dinner, is also not going to solve anything, because right now you are talking to me. Okay. So what will support is that, okay, I have this thought. What matters for me to, or deal with that can go out of my mind, or just, this doesn't matter right now. This doesn't is not going to produce any impact for me to think about that. For instance, I see a lot of people saying, yeah, but could be that something else happened. I go like, okay, but what that matters? is already gone. That was what happened. Why are you still thinking about the possibilities of what could happen 2 days ago? Like, and I see people doing this. I hear people saying this as well. Like, oh yeah, it was so good that this happened, that this will not happen like this. And I go like, okay, but okay, can you use that to anticipate some dangers? Okay, but if you are just doing that as, I call it, entertainment, mind entertainment, because you are putting scenarios that are not even there. They didn't happen. You are talking about something that happened 2 days ago and you are still wondering, what if? And this is that everything that you think about, your mind, like mine, doesn't have the possibility of distinguishing reality. So if you are imagining things that didn't even happen, you have consequence them. Almost becomes, some people transform this speculation in a memory. Yes, sometimes people, yeah, this didn't really happen, but really stayed in my mind. So stays the memory of what they imagine that could happen, and not so clearly the moment that really happened. Incredible. This is incredible, right? And of course, this can be used for the good, but normally is used to, intensify the experience on the right side of the spectrum. So the thing is, doing what matters. Like, for instance, okay, let me give you an example. You are in a discussion. Okay, what matters in this discussion is that we are, throwing arguments, or what matters is what we are going to do after what happened. Because we can be hours having a discussion that you have a different experience that I have. You have a different perspective that I have. You have even, different proofs or arguments or studies or whatever that I have. And we are going to always, maybe find ways of, continue the discussion. But not change anything, or what will change something is for us to say, okay, what we are going to do with this different perspective, what we are going to do about this different information we have. So that matters, because maybe doesn't you that my arguments are better than yours and you are better than mine, because that is difficult. Let's say most part of the time it's never happened. So we continue. Oh, this is my opinion. That is your opinion. So, but maybe the most relevant thing is what we are going to do from the fact that we have a different perspective. That is what matters. But guess what? How many hours we spent talking things that don't bring add value, really any add value. And that is a challenge, right? Is for us to realize, okay, what is trash in our lives? And this is going to be different for each one of us. So it's not saying, oh, this is trash. No, for you can be meaningful and can matter. So it's not something that someone can tell you what it is, and is not something that is good that you take also from someone. Okay, of course you can say, oh, okay, never thought about it. Maybe that is something that I also do. go and check if you do it. And if really doesn't matter for you and can become trash, or yes, it's happening, and suddenly, oh, but this for me matters, you know? So the our mind is going to be very different and in working very when we are more aware, okay, what matters and what I'm going to spend my time with here in my thoughts. What are the type of thoughts that I want for myself? What are the type of people that I want for myself? And everything, if it's all of this is aligned, I can tell you that your life is becoming easier and easier and easier. Okay. So the thing is that, of course, the challenge maybe is to find out, okay, but when it's not feeling easy, and what do I do with that? So because sometimes we feel it, we feel like, oh, this is really in the flow, this is really nice, great. But sometimes the question, and the tough one, right, is, okay, what do I do when it doesn't feel like a flow, it doesn't feel easy, feels a lot of effort, feels very difficult, feel like it's taking a lot of energy from you. So what then? What do we do, right? Because yes, that is most probably when we need to take our more the biggest decisions. Yeah. So let's go a little bit real. Really doesn't glow, doesn't flow. Every, like, these days that feels like, oh wow, everything is happening at the same time. Yeah. Days that plans are changed. They things are difficult. I had one of these days, uh, I think uh, last week, yeah, on Monday, sending some messages, and everything that was coming was, oh, sorry, I didn't get it. Sorry, what do you mean by that? And I go like, oh my God, my communication skills today is zero. So I'm like, okay, what do I do with this? Do I stop? Do I stop communicating? And they like, uh, or what do I do? And I got myself really, I don't know, I think on the feedback like that, I go like, wow, what is going on here? What is not working? So, and that's feedback, right? That is like, oh, okay, that gives me the opportunity to correct, to say, oh, you know what, today, so I'm going to, make it really easy for myself. Um, but it's not that I failed, because I still know how to communicate, but something was out of alignment. Something was really not working. When life presents herself like this, I think that is the first thing that we need to ask ourselves. Okay, where I feel this disalignment, where do I feel like things are, And for myself, for that day, I realized, okay, you know what? I'm proper sleep. So I will take maybe half an hour. I think I took half an hour, and I go like, I'm just going to close my eyes. I'm not going to do anything. I think I'm not going to be able to sleep right now, but I'm just going to, go out of my phone, go out of my computer, and now roughly 30 minutes, just there, just with my eyes closed and breathing, and okay, felt like my biggest is the last, I'm not resting as I like. So the thing is, we don't want to force, because sometimes I also see this like working, but we continue. No, because working upon this alignment is where most part of the times bad decisions happened, confusion, miscommunication, mistakes happened, So just stop. Just stop and get, okay, what is here? What is happening? And why do I feel this disalignment? And what is really the reason of this disalignment? And I think this can also be related with people, right? Like this person right now is getting, confusion. The communication is not flowing. It's getting, difficult. So it's time to sometimes stop and saying, okay, what is really the reason that this is happening? Is with me? Is in the dynamic that we have? Is the moments that we are, together? And I think we need to stop, because incredibly we are in a rush for something. So not necessary. It's not really necessary. And that was something that I really learned along the way. That the things that I thought, oh, this needs to be done fast and I need to be fast, and not really. And sometimes when I allow myself to say, oh, you know what, I need one day more, or I cannot do this right now, people go like, oh, okay, but when can you do it? And I like, oh, okay, maybe tomorrow or in 2 days. And people are like, oh, okay, that's fine. I think, to be honest, that when we become honest, people also are, you know, open to that honesty. I think people honestly they prefer that we are honest. Want to say, yeah, I cannot do this right now. Only maybe tomorrow or in 2 days or a week or whatever is necessary, right? But I think we tend to, because we don't want to mess up. No, we don't want to miss the opportunity. Sometimes we don't want to miss, I don't know, the client or whatever. So we tend like, oh, okay, I'm going to do it right now. But every time that you are doing that, you know that you are messing up with your, calendar, your goals, with your agenda, with even the way that you organize your day or your week. Is this worth it? Because the price is high. The price that you are going to pay for always being doing this. I'm not saying that you cannot do this in once in a while when justified, because we all have emergencies, we all have things that just come up. But if I always say, if you have your life based on emergencies and you are not in an emergency room, or you are not a paramedic or a firework, so that type of emergencies are in need of stopping. And I'm not saying this, I'm not going to say this in a more soft way, if your life is based on then you need really a moment to stop, because the price is high. You pay a great big price for that. And I know that some people say, no, I like it. Yes, you are used to that. I don't believe that you will not enjoy more if you are more in the easy part. Okay. And again, easy doesn't mean that you are not focused. Easy doesn't mean that you are not committed. Okay. So I'm going to give you, this morning I had a great example. Last week I worked with, in my training, I worked with 40 kilos, okay? Something that I never did before. And today I did the exercise, and my personal trainer said to me, "Are you tired?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Oh, so we need to put more weight." And then I go like, "Oh, okay." So we went for 50 kilos. And again, was not, let's say, easy in the sense of, yeah, with one arm. No, I needed effort. I needed commitment. But it was easy in the sense that what's possible for me to do was possible for me to pick up 50 kilos and not 40. Yeah. So I felt like, yeah, I'm very committed. I'm putting my commitment out there. But this is not, doesn't take the flow away, doesn't take the easy of what I gain from the exercise. Makes sense what I'm saying? Because I don't want people to get mistaken with easy means that I'm not committed, or easy means that, you know, I just let go of life. No. Easy means I take the right decisions. Easy means I go for what matters, and I get my focus in what matters, what makes the difference. Yeah? So I want to propose one thing for you that I personally use and is a game changer. Is the idea that instead of on a to-do list, you vision map. That's right. It's a big invitation, right? Like the goal-oriented people are like, what? What are you talking about? Why now I need to pay attention to my sensations? Okay. Um, why this? Because we know that what drives our behavior, neurologically speaking, is our emotional state. So our state, the state that we are in, is the one that is going to, inform all my behavioral strategies. So if I say to myself, okay, this is the sensation that I want to have, this is the map of the sensations that I want to have, I'm going to focus on getting that sensation, doesn't matter what I'm doing. Make sense? So instead of me saying, oh, I have this task to do, okay, how do I feel about this task? And sometimes we don't feel good about some tasks, right? But if I say, okay, you know what, the map of the day, I really want to feel the sensation that I want to have on the day today is I want to feel, connected. Okay, I need to cook. I'm going to do that cooking looking for how do I want to connect, and how can I amplify connection. So I'm saying this because it already happened. One of the things, for instance, is that I say to my kids, hey, any one of you want to cook with me today? Or I go like, oh, you know what? I'm going to cook in silence, and I'm going really to start cooking a little bit earlier. I want to do this slow. So I'm looking for the sensation that I want to gain, even doing that task. Okay? Because I love cooking. Don't get me wrong. But cooking every day is sometimes, you lose that. You lose like, okay, I'm cooking just to, get some food on the table. But sometimes I go like, no, I want to go back to that sensation that I like when I cook. And is the connection, the time, the slowness, the smells, So I'm looking for the sensation and not so much the goal of the task. Because I'm trusting that if I'm in the right state, the goal will be anyway there. So, for instance, one of the things that I normally say is that focusing on the goal is not what matters, because if you are doing everything before the goal as you wanted, the goal is what naturally will be happening, right? Is a natural consequence of what are you doing. So if you are cooking in connection, the most natural consequence is that will be a great meal, you know, will be a meal that maybe even the kid gave a suggestion, so you will eat it because you will like it, or you put so much time and care that it's going to taste in a different way. That is a natural consequence. So the goal of something should be put on a natural consequence, not as a driver. The driver that we should be looking for is, I'm getting this the state that I was aiming. And that is when we know that our life will become easier and in a flow, because I'm working on that sensation. And I'm looking for to how to create that sensation in a more evident way. Okay. And the beautiful thing is that we are not here to perform. Yeah, we are not here to perform. We are here to experience, right? So if we are aiming for that experience, we need to aim for that sensation that the experience is going to be there. And what is the sensation that is going to give me that experience? And I can tell you that one of the biggest thing that people, this the question is so simple. People ask me, how do you do it? You know, having the life that you have with three kids, one with special needs, um, being by myself since the passing of my husband, um, being in a country that is my home, but my family is not my close family from my side is not here. So I don't have a net of support net. And people ask me how I do it, and I say always this. I say I really worked on making my life easy. So I only do what really matters for me, for the kids. And I really, um, you know, left to do things that didn't bring me any type of, really relevant things. Like, I don't see any type of movies almost. Sometimes with the kids, we do Saturday evening movie night. But I don't do that because most part of them don't bring really a lot to me. I prefer reading. But or for instance, I don't enjoy a lot dinners, going out for dinner, because it makes me tired the next day. So I like to sleep super early, because I wake up super early as well, or sometimes I don't have any sleep because of my son, and with, yeah, the sleep privation that sometimes he has. Um, so I really made my life super easy. Sometimes I say to people, I have a very, boring life, but it's the life that keeps me doing what really matters for me. And that is for me the most relevant thing. I don't do my life to impress anyone else than myself. I want to be by my own. So I'm me and my kids. Um, Friday, and again, make your easy. Have a great